All right, looks like we are live, and I want to welcome you to this masterclass on Memorial Day. I don't know what I was thinking, I clearly wasn't. And so I'm going to offer you a very special gift. Everyone who comments on this video is going to get a coupon code from me. And the very last person to comment on this video just before we release our newest hypnosis product, little teaser there, will get it free. So please do drop your name, where you're from, and let us know who you are, what it is that really lights you up. And as we do, as you make yourself known, you can also let us know if you are here live, and probably more likely most of you on the replay because, well, it's a holiday. So now I absolutely had my holiday yesterday and today. In fact, that's something that we're going to talk about here in depth. So I want to welcome you to reclaim your energy, passion, and focus for business success. This is a burnout recovery masterclass, and I'm the entrepreneur's hypnotherapist, Melanie McCool. I'm here to talk to you today about what I call radical self-care. Radical self-care because I would love for you to avoid my fate. My story is that after working a business for more than 17 years, I had a debilitating burnout. That's a full mental and physical burnout that took me out of my business. The only thing I could do was focus on recovering my physical and mental health. And so it is my mission to not only educate people about the mental health syndrome that is burnout, but also to help you avoid it altogether. And I'm not talking to you from theory, and I'm certainly not talking to you about all of the kind of stuff that you're going to see out there when you go and you're like, how to recover from burnout, how to manage stress, or how to, how about adrenal fatigue? This is one that many who are on the road to burnout don't even know how bad it can get, right? I promise you that what I talk about is not going to be your run of the mill. I'm somebody who looks for the efficient and for the truly effective. And when I was taken out of my career, when I was unable to work to support my family, I had no time for the norm. In fact, I did all the norm. And the norm didn't help me. It did not cure my condition. And I'm going to be bold enough to say that after working with 500 clinical clients, I have developed a protocol that helps people to recover from burnout in 6 weeks or less without having to take a sabbatical. And so what I'm going to talk to you today is just one sliver, one piece of it, but it is one that is it's unconditional. You must follow through with this if you work with me. So if you're open and you'd love to know about radical self-care, I want you to drop it and let me know you're ready to get radical. Awesome. All right. So here's what I know is that the people that I work with are typically really high achievers. They're the kind of people that get things done, and they may have already pushed through a few bouts of burnout. And by the time they come to me, they realize that it's gotten so bad that they're finding themselves with what I call burnout brain. And so if you are, if you have been successful in business, but now you're feeling like you're so exhausted that, taking a weekend off or a vacation or getting enough rest, it doesn't even seem to give you the energy to regain your energy. If you are feeling, cynical, distant from your work, even angry and resentful of the very business that you started that was meant to bring you freedom, right? and all of that ultimately leading to lack of productivity, then you are experiencing what the World Health Organization defines as burnout. And it's a mental health syndrome that results from unmanaged chronic stress. Workplace stress, by the way, burnout. So that's the mental health side of it. But, unfortunately, many of the women who I find myself working with are already at the point where stress has been taking a physical toll. Now, and as the World Health Organization does not define burnout as a disease yet, right? But what you will find is that up to, well, they say 75% of doctor visits are attributed to stress. So, okay, chronic stress, burnout brain, lack of productivity in my business, feeling like I should be further along than I am, but I have not a creative bone in my body. And you might have things like insomnia, um, even issues with weight, your things like diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune conditions are all related to chronic stress, unmanaged chronic stress. And so if this describes you, I can tell you that I know where you are, where you're coming from. And I also know the fastest way to help you to heal. And it's not just by doing the things that we're typically told to do. It's not even just, get the rest, do some yoga, meditation, set boundaries, and, all those things are all true and good. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm going to share with you today is not only about radical self-care, but it's the one thing that I don't see being applied anywhere else. And it's the one thing that I know will help you because, well, it's what helped me. And so you should know that according to experts, it could take up to 12 weeks to heal burnout brain. And that is with a sabbatical. Now, you may not have time for that sabbatical. I didn't have a choice. Okay. And I can actually tell you, I remember when my brain came back on board. And just if you can relate to this, when I was not well, I felt like I didn't know where my entrepreneurial mind went. My creative, solution oriented money mind was nowhere to be found. And that's why I was really frightened. Because before I was courageous, I was unstoppable. I could, I could, make money fall from the sky. It's just, it's just a gift that we have, right? In fact, there's a spiritual gifting in the entrepreneur. It is a believing wholeheartedly in the unseen and then stepping out in faith to bring that which is unseen into reality. You are a creative, right? But wait a minute, burnout, brain, where'd the creative go? It was so scary. But I do remember the day that my brain came back on board. When my brain came back on board, there was a very rapid understanding that came to me that this harrowing idea, ordeal that I'd gone through was something that I had to help other people avoid. And so, would you like to know the difference maker? What really made a difference for me? Because it wasn't just the self-care, right? In the way that we traditionally think of it. Yes, I guarded my sleep like my life depended on it. I'm giving you some self-care tips here, and not the ones that are like, go get your nails done. That's not what I'm calling self-care. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting your nails done, but it is actually, I'm flabbergasted. So when I mention self-care and people will say something like going to get their nails done or their hair dyed or even a massage, because sweetheart, yes, go do those things and definitely go get a massage. But self-care is something that we do minute to minute. It's choice by choice. It is our daily habits. It's not that you're going to put the massage on the calendar. All right. So step off my soapbox for a moment there. Sleeping. Protect your sleep like your life depends on it, because it does. Meditating. The truth is, I was meditating like a mofo. I was meditating for hours. I was meditating to heal the body because I was so unwell. I mean, not only did I have the burnout brain, that's brain fog and unable to, see my way out of a paper bag, but I had heart palpitations, muscle wasting, my hair was falling out. It was terrible. So I was meditating to bring my nervous system back to a place where I knew that it could do the work to heal. But here's what I found. When I was meditating, I came up against this kind of wall, and I recognized that I could only go so far in this healing journey, that there was something that I couldn't access that was kind of behind a wall. And I saw it like a wall or a curtain. And the wild thing is, when I went searching for what this wall might be, it has a name, but we'll get to that. So well, what else? Eat really well. Oh my goodness. Hello. I've been a health nut since I was like 16 years old. And I read these crazy books that my family thought I'd just gone off. They just made fun of me for years for how healthy I've eaten. It's just been my life. So yes, eating well, avoiding the things that will increase adrenal fatigue, right? Essentially eating well, drinking well to fuel your adrenal health. I was doing all that. I learned that I had to say no to most things. I didn't have a choice. And ultimately, because I said no to most things, I was able to say yes to the right things. And I learned boundaries. I learned boundaries in a way that I hope that none of you have to learn them. Learning boundaries, because if I didn't enforce them, I could literally have lost my life. I'd already burned out half my thyroid. What else might I have burned out? Heart attack is a leading cause of death in women. And stress is the leading cause of heart attack. So chronic stress, unmanaged. So yeah, learn boundaries, because what's best for me is what's best for everyone. Me being around, first of all. And then with all of that going on, it really was the one thing that was missing that pulled it all together. And that was the understanding that there is a wall. There is a wall. It's in your mind. It's not literal. It's not like I'm going to point at the corpus callosum and say it's right here. That's not what I'm talking about. And it has a name, and we as hypnotists, we call it the critical faculty, or the critical factor. And you might think of it as the gatekeeper. I think of it now and understand it to be, and I haven't heard it described this way, as the one that helps us to be resilient. Okay, so get this. Your brilliant mind has a way to protect you from much of the pain, right, and suffering that you may have experienced. It kind of puts up this wall, and that's what you think of as the gatekeeper. And it creates this way for you to be incredibly resilient. Resilient because if you knew what was on the other side of that wall, you'd probably crumble, right? But your mind doesn't care if you're happy. It just wants to keep you safe and alive. And so it puts a lot of this stuff kind of behind a wall, the critical faculty. And so when I was in meditation and I literally came up against this wall, and I realized that my healing was on the other side of that wall, but I couldn't get to it. I did some research. I wish I could tell you what the search was that I did that actually gave me the answer, because when I learned that hypnotists had a name for it and that hypnotherapists knew how to get through that wall to help me, I was all in. Like there was nothing else for me to do or know. I learned that it takes subconscious work to heal, not only from the what was behind the wall, but also the trauma that had been stored in my body and in my mind. It takes subconscious work, and it's incredibly effective to heal the autonomic nervous system, to heal things like, okay, let me say this better, because I am a trauma-informed clinical hypnotherapist. And though we do some really amazing work, I've got to say this in a way that is helps you to understand it, and you don't think that I'm calling myself a healer. You're the healer. The keys to your healing from burnout, from any of the physical conditions that may be resulting from it, is in you. And a hypnotherapist can help the inner healer to come back on board. And it is my belief that every spontaneous remission of disease has come about with a radical suppression, not suppression, but working with decrease in stress. I'm going to say that again. Spontaneous remission, what people call miracle healings, is available when you radically reduce the stress that's in the body and the mind, and you activate the inner healer. And I'm not the first to experience it, and I won't be the last. My clients have, and you can. But it does take this radical self-care, which goes far beyond making sure you get the sleep, taking good care of yourself physically, mentally, doing all the good things that'll help you to reduce stress and feel better, eating well, getting social, having that lovely human connection, all that good stuff. The most important self-care that you can work with will be getting the number one source of 24/7 stress under control, or really eradicating it, eliminating it. And that's right here. So the number one source of 24/7 stress is actually what's going on between your own ears. It is the thoughts, very often at the subconscious level, that are causing you stress. They're the thoughts that are beyond, on the other side of the gatekeeper, that you don't even necessarily know are running the show. They're the thoughts, we can call them thoughts, we can call them beliefs. And when we work at a level of the subconscious and we're going to the deepest healing, deepest feeling level of you, words become less important. But when I say you can consider that negative thinking is the number one source of 24/7 stress, you might begin to lean in and go, oh. So that inner critic, the one that, screams at me things that if somebody were to talk to me that way, I would kick them out of my life. The one that tells me that, you're no good at this, you're no good at technology, whatever it might tell you. The one that tells you awful things about yourself. Or the limiting beliefs about, the world and your place in it as it relates to money and success and health, happiness, love, sex, enjoyment, connection, friends, what you can have, what you can't have, all of that stuff. The underneath stuff that's really not even remotely relevant, probably, to your life today. And that's where I come in. So to be clear, radical self-care, it's going to take, yes, developing habits that would take your stress levels to the ground and keep them there. to recognize the alarm bells, the signals that your body and your mind starts to send you when you're not taking great care of yourself, and to take action to do things that you may not have known to do before, things that I'm happy to teach you, things that helped me and help my clients. These are things like getting that, nervous system regulated again, ways to play the vagus nerve like a violin so you can feel really fabulous, ways to take whatever stinking thinking that might rise to the surface, or that negative forecaster of doom who wants to take over, and tell it to take a hike, or even better, tell it some good things that can change its tune altogether. Like that. That's what I do. So as a certified master trainer of hypnosis, it's my joy to give you the keys to really to freedom from the habits that would take you to burnout again, and freedom to earn a whole lot more money with less work. That's really what I get to help you do. Why? Well, because I believe that really good people do great things in the world with money, and it is my mission to help more entrepreneurs see their vision come to light, because I believe that's your gift to the world. It's your love, able to be seen in the world. And if burnout would stop you in your tracks and you didn't have access to the most efficient, effective way to heal your body, your mind, and your brain in 6 weeks or less without having to take a sabbatical, well, then I wouldn't be doing my job, would I? My job that I knew I had to. It's like one of those things. And I don't know that I actually did, though I might have. The fact is, when I was totally out of my mind, I don't remember much of that I thought. But I might have had one of those moments where I said, oh, please, if you get me out of this, I'll do anything, right? I'm not sure. But I do know that I don't have a choice but to do this work. And it is the most satisfying, beautiful work ever. And so I'm about to wrap this up, but I want to put in something else that I think I know. If you're anything like me, something I think I know about you. And that's if you are a high achieving woman, or a high achiever altogether, but usually a high achieving woman, it's likely because you had some sort of upbringing, and whether it involved lots of trauma in the capital T, version or not, you had an upbringing that had you thinking a certain way about yourself. And it actually propels you to work harder, to do things better, and to prove that you are good enough and that you are lovable. In other words, what that may have been the initial reason. And so you can go, okay, I get it. But the same habits that got you to where you are now are not going to get you any further. In fact, they could kill you. I'm sorry to be so blunt. But at some point, you've got to realize that you've got to turn off that unhealthy driver, because you are good enough. You have proven yourself. You are an expert of experts. You're a leader. You're able to do things that other people aren't able to do. So there is no reason for you to work yourself to death anymore. And what I also know is that just saying that and you're doing it are two completely different things. And as someone who had to learn this myself, who had to learn to retrain my habits at a level that, I literally knew it was life-saving. I had to convince my subconscious mind that I was going to take care of myself, or I would never be able to step back into business again. In other words, that subconscious mind would have gone, oh no, you're not going to kill yourself again. You can't be a businesswoman anymore. Who knows where I would be right now if I hadn't sorted this out. Your body mind will take you out of the game for fear that you would burn out again if you don't get that sorted. And so you got to radically retrain habits. And the best way to deal with habits is with hypnotherapy. There's no question. There is a reason why, people go to a hypnotist to break bad habits all the time. I'm here to tell you it's also possible to install good ones. And I've got the processes and the proven modalities to help you to do that. And so as I wrap up here, I wanted to just say, from my heart to yours, you beautiful, amazing woman, you, for all that you've done. And you can know that you can reach to me if you are at a point where perhaps you want to scale your business, but you're afraid you would kill yourself doing it. Or maybe that's the reason why you're not able to scale your business, because subconsciously you're afraid it would take too much work and you would kill yourself. Maybe it's not even something you consciously understand. Oh, there you go. Then reach out to me, because I'd love to help your love to be seen in the world. That is part of my mission, is that ripple effect, that magic that you get to create. And you can just call me your secret weapon. You put me in your pocket and I'll remind you. I'll give you the keys to your keys that have always been in you, to your inner healer and to your success. And I'll be here to remind you and help you as you scale that business. All right. So, and whether or not that directly describes you, or if you just realize that burnout is going way too far and you're ready, please comment on this video, because my burnout recovery hypnosis audio series is going to be released. And as I said, everyone who comments on this video will get a deep discount. And the last person to comment on this video before we actually release it, we'll get it totally free. All right. So with that, if what I've said has resonated with you, if you're committed to installing the habits for radical self-care, and you'd like our help here at MindWorks, then please reach out to me or one of the team, and we'll make sure that you get everything that you need and more. All right. So with that, I'm going to say, have a blessed day. You deserve it. Bye-bye.